we need to be meeting new people every day in Mississippi, because Mississippi is critical for what Black people are going to do going forward. It is the port of entry. And for all those non-Navy people, non-military people, port of entry is the harbor, if you will. It's the safe space. It's where we can bring in assets and they feel relatively safe coming into the harbor, if you will. And so when we talk about port of entry, when people come from South America or come from Africa, what is the port of entry? Well, personally, with all my research, we didn't have one. It was just go wherever you go. It wasn't an established, agreed upon process to bring someone in and make sure that they are informed of all the resources available to them, things to be on watch and look out for, and then sent on their way. And that's what I believe Mississippi should serve as for Black people, because we need a port of entry for all the people who will be moving in and out and throughout Black America. So that's Mississippi. All our relationships we can meet will help us to make that a reality, and that's what we want. We want to make that a reality. All right. So then we moving on along because time constraints. I want to move now into the next phase, which is rural towns. Bucksport, South Carolina is my biggest small town I want to talk about, 96% Black. You guys seen the post with Glenda. She is our superstar running a corner store, Army veteran, and someone that we should definitely support. And the reason why we want to support Glenda is because she is first a female, then secondary, a military veteran, and then third, she's running a Black business, which is a store. And what I always tell people, they say, "Well, I don't buy stuff from little stores." Well, create, carve out a little budget so that you can. Like that. That's the goal. Is let's build up and let's get this created. Okay, I'm back online now, so we're still recording. Perfect. Right. So now I can end my. We're gonna let that phone charge up. So anyway, now that I don't have to hold the phone up, that's gonna help. So anyway, going back to Mississippi and making sure that we get the support to Glenda and Bucksport, and it's another small town called Cofield, North Carolina. We haven't been able to get there yet, but between North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, we're making sure that our new structure involves our small towns where blacks are the majority. And when you look at the state of Black America and our community, it's important, you guys, that we have some place that we're the majority and we can take care of ourselves. Think about how you look at a person when they can do for self versus someone who always is dependent and needing help and a hand. So that's what I believe why we need to be connected to these small towns. Okay, moving right along, the violence levels. This is always unfortunate, always, and I'm going to give some information about what's happening on the violence level. So we continue to see numbers going back to the 90s when it comes to murders. We continue to see this, and what we're seeing now, what I'm seeing, is infighting in some of the city governments. Uh, Dallas, for instance, is very upset. They have a new police chief, and it appears that they expect something different with the new police chief. Atlanta, in the Buckhead area in Atlanta, which for those who don't know, it's the Lincoln Park of Chicago. It's the Miller of Gary. Wait, sometimes they call themselves, Buckhead, Georgia, as if they're not inside the city of Atlanta. Same way Miller people sometimes try to call themselves Miller, Indiana, instead of Miller inside of Gary. But anyway, I've been witnessing frustration with elected officials, residents, churches, police chiefs about the social unrest they call it, which I think they do a disservice calling it that. But they just can't seem to control the roaming black men and the violence and the breaking in, busting down windows and stores. So what you're seeing in Magnificent Mouth is they're thinking about creating a special district, taxing district, so they can fund new cameras, counters, people to count people coming in, yeah, stuff like that. And then in Buckhead, they're open to what it's going to take, but they said the same thing. They want new cameras, more overtime for police, things of that nature. Now, I'm gonna write something later about this, but I just want people to know from a national perspective when we talk about the violence impacting our communities, there's over a dozen cities who have more murders than they have in a decade. And in some places, these are records that they've never had this many murders that they have right now. So when a person say it's our mayor, it's our city council, it's our police, I would just caution you that it couldn't be just your mayor, your police, your uh, judges letting out criminals. Because why is it happening? St. Louis, 267 murders, 323 murders in Memphis, Tennessee. LA has 322 murders. Memphis have one more murder than all of LA. It's much smaller. Last year they had 284 murders in Memphis, so they numbers off the charts. DC already broke their murder record 3 months ago, more murders than the year before. Birmingham, Alabama, uh, way went over their murders in the past as well. So when I hear people infighting about what it's going to take to stop this killing, what I want everyone to know from my perspective, it couldn't be just the elected officials, police chief. Because if it was, how is it the same across 12 other cities at a minimum? It's probably more than 12, but these are part of the ones that we look at. So is it the mayors in all 12 of these cities? They all the mayors bad? All the police chiefs bad? All the aldermen bad? I don't think so. Something else is going on, and it's not more cameras, more police. It's not more overtime. It's not arresting our way out of it. It's not uh, giving all these young people jobs. No, it's deeper than that. And if you care to listen, it boils down to something very basic and simple. The young black male in America has been targeted, and they've been hurt, abused, and now have some bitterness. When you've been hurt, abused, and now you're bitter, a job isn't going to fix that. Please know that a job isn't going to fix that. And so, how do you deal with hurt, abuse, and bitterness? It's not the police job to do that. It's not the alderman's job to do that. It's not the city council's job. It's not the mayor's job to do that. That internal bug, I call it the contaminated box, that's going to be healed and fixed in the community arena, and in the family arena, and in the religious arena, spiritual arena. It's not going to be done with the government. All right. Now, when government stay in their lane and do their part, they can facilitate and help that come along. But outside of those, we as black people, especially men, we need to feel some light at the end of the tunnel. We need to feel some hope. We need to feel like it's a reason to fight on. And I get it, some of our accountability people, well, you need to do that for yourself. No one else. I get that. I get that. You're a strong person. God bless you for being so strong. I would say this: when President Obama was running in 2006, I saw a hope in black people that I've never seen before. And at the time, I was in my 30s. My point is this: people who are hopeful behave differently than people who are hopeless. And what I'm saying right here is the beauty is we've built something that will give hope back to our black men as it was in 2007, 2008. And I knew when I was downtown when Barack accepted, and I knew looking at thugs with tears in their eyes that they cared. Even when they was thugging, they cared. The problem was they didn't have nothing bigger than them that they can attach to and be hopeful for. This is why it's bigger than Buckhead, Magnificent Mile, Miller, all these areas where you got the white community saying more cameras, more police, curfew. It's bigger than that. This thing in the black male is there, and you're only gonna treat that number one. It's not gonna be treated with a job. So giving them a job is not gonna do it. However, people need money to pacify themselves to unfortunately buy the stuff made by outsiders. Give our money to outsiders so we can feel good about ourselves, that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, you do need to be able to provide for your family. You do need to be able to be mobile and all that. I get that. But I just know, unfortunately, we're $1 trillion people, and a lot of other people eat off of us. So it's a lot of waste, if you will, when it comes to us and our money. So anyway, going back to the solution, I want you, if you're writing this down, to write down altering black society in increments of $5,000. Altering black society in increments of $5,000. Some people are going to believe that, some people won't. But I just want to declare that. You can look at me as I said that. Altering black society in increments of 5K. And the reason why I wanted to be real clear about that is because they're throwing millions of dollars with the new Biden administration coming. They're getting ready to pour millions, billions of dollars into urban neighborhoods. And they got it all wrong. They got it all wrong. They think it's going to take millions and all of this. And in fact, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. I've been doing this for 26 years. I'm 45 years old. And I just finished saying this in Chicago. Then I got to move on. I know I'm taking up too much time on the safety subject. But I've watched us throw so much money at these problems and it didn't fix it. I've watched us fight for education, fight for more funding for this, fight. For 40 years, I've fighting. I say, what are we building? What have black people built? Show me what we built that I can feel good about. Because remember what I was saying, we have to, something got to help us feel good. Do we have a national black corner store chain? Did we build that? Did we build a national black fund that everyone can contribute in and see results come back in their zip code? Have we built that? Have we even built the black bank? Have we built anything national that can give hope to our people? We're fighting. We're fighting to be heard. We're fighting to be seen. We're holding news conferences, press conferences, prayer vigils, and all of those things gives voice. And I get that. But once you're done having your voice heard or seen, you still got this major problem. The last 40 years, we haven't pulled money together to build nothing. To me, this is worth a try. We've been fighting, like I say, my whole 45 years. We haven't built over here. And so we invite you to do your part. It's $12 a year. It's $1 a month. It's really about, can you trust uh, another black person, another black group? Or do you have to, as some people say, I don't know, I gotta check them out, you know? And I get it, and that's why the price is as low as it is, because it helps people take a risk. If you're afraid of losing $12 a year, I don't know what to say, but that's the purpose. It made it where it's almost no excuse to not have agreement. And for 26 years, we haven't had widespread agreement. Right now, we're at 167 donors this year. So it just shows you the challenge. And everyone is in their silo, DMOT, doing my own thing. And we haven't collectively came together. So If we haven't done that, I don't see how Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Barack, I don't know how any of them come in and get us to unite, get us to agree. It's something we got to do. And that's why we have what we built, so it makes it easier for us to agree. All right, so talk about missing persons real quick. So um, the benefit of having 20 cities linked to Chicago's 20 zip codes, it gives us a national reach. And when it comes to missing persons, a lot of times if someone abducted someone, and especially if they black, it's certain places that's going to be off limits to them. So it does shrink the map, if you will, of where they will be able to go and get away and hide. We know, unfortunately, blacks in white neighborhoods will be viewed as suspicious, so they'll get the police calling them just by being black in this other neighborhood. That occurred during white flight, and so it's like if they are kidnapping someone, police will be checking them out. So unfortunately, fortunate for them if you're a missing person abducted by them, unfortunately, because it causes some brothers to get pulled over who shouldn't. But I'm just saying the map has shrunk a little when it comes to missing persons. If they are eluding police and authorities and they're black, they will have to stay in black neighborhoods, or they have to be where black people are accepted at if it's not a black neighborhood. And so with that in mind, we target those areas, and then we'll be able to make sure that the people can see who we think are the person that alleged to kidnap someone or abduct them. And it just makes it easier for people to keep a watch and be on the lookout if a person has done something wrong. We also need to look at the vacant buildings. We have something called block inventory. And what block inventory is we want to know on every block, what are we working with? How many properties on the block? How many properties on the block have people last names V through Z? How many have teenagers? Every piece of information we get off the block allows us to put that information inside. We call them our information factories, so that it can build on whatever information it is. So if you tell us on your block you have a carpenter who's in their 40s, once it hit the village, the factory that's dealing with all our carpenters, that retired carpenter now would get in touch with that 40-year-old carpenter and say, how can I help you? So by sharing this information, you're going to have layers of support, three different people engaging you about how can I help your life. This is one of the ways, when I talked about the violence, that we're going to treat what the police and government can't treat, which is hurt, abuse, and bitterness. HAB, hurt, abuse, and bitterness. When we link you up with LOS, layers of support, and that support is retirees, adults, and youth, now you're going to feel supported. That can help deal with the hurt you may be having. That can help deal with the abuse you may be going through. And that can help you get over some of the bitterness that might be in you. So it's not a job, it's not more funding for and mental health is important, so don't get me wrong. I just think a lot of this stuff, we made it before mental health professionals, and I think we can make it without them as well. I think it's more lack of love, and some people just don't go crazy. They just can't understand why we won't love each other, which in some instances makes sense. But it's fine if we want to put money into mental health. I wouldn't object to it, but let's just say we need to keep our eye on the results of that, because just paying people high price, and we know the bottom line is, even if you get on the best mental health treatment and they still go in the neighborhood with everyone honking the horn, riding down on you, shooting little kids, killing. I don't care how strong you are mentally, that's gonna affect you, and it's gonna be taken away from your strength as a person. And that's what we're dealing with a lot of, more so than just people just mentally losing it. It's stress being in these urban sectors. So anyway, it's time to move on. I went overtime here. We should be in economic development plan piece. So let me take a break here, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So, economic development should have been at 340. As you guys can see, I'm about 5 minutes over. So, I'll just keep going fast and catch up. So, it's important to note and to have it in the back of your mind what the economy is made up of. And for the most part, it's made up of production, distribution, consumption. When you look at our community, what are we producing? What are we distributing? What are we consuming? And you'll see the consumption is where the bulk of our energy goes. So no matter how much money comes to our community, because we're not heavily involved in production and distribution, we end up just spending. The money leaves Chinatown, Greek town, Little Italy, the money rotates. And so we have a problem, and we had to work on that. What I'm excited about here is with our black business owners, some of them have agreed to pool that money together and not to demont doing my own thing. And I'm gonna go through this and just show you guys some of them. So we have Uncle Reese, 5817 West Corcoran, and I would show you guys it, but you're not gonna be able to see it. And I don't feel like messing with the computer. It might freeze up again, so I don't want to play with that. But anyway, uh, Uncle Reese Candy Shop agreed to circulate money with black businesses, and this is the key. I call it air purchases from an economic standpoint. And what an air purchase is, that's you buying some out of the air and you don't expect it. It's a way of being able to meet your quota of being able to name four black businesses at the end of each month. And so when you air purchase, you just sowing financial seeds. You're circulating the money with that business, and later on down the line, one day maybe you'll get the product or service. Here's why that's important to do that. We only have less than 20 black gas stations in America. So if every black neighborhood only spent money for gas with the black gas stations, you wouldn't have gas because it's not a gas station at all our locations. Air purchase is you saying, "Hey, it's my mom's birthday in Milwaukee, so Sister Diane's store gas stations up there. I'm putting $100 on the books. Mom, go get your free gas. Happy birthday." You fill the tank up. Air purchase. So you didn't get nothing out of it, but you used that money to be able to name your four, but also to help someone else out. So air purchases with the pandemic, you buying from a caterer and having that food dropped off to a senior. That's air purchase. Hands of love. So we got Uncle Reese, West Side. He circulated money. Hands of Love circulated money with Nipsey's, which is another black restaurant. Hands of Love. I mean, Uncle Reese circulated money with M4 Construction. Elite Dental. Elite Dental did the whole year, 12 months of circulate money to Longevity Barbershop, E&M Groceries, Dr. Yas Simpson, and she does the youth piece from a health perspective. Hands of Love, ASAP Hauling, For Real Barbershop, Travis Accounting Firm, Nipsey's Lounge, and also Uncle Reese. This one black business circulating money with all of them. So this is what this looks good when black businesses are doing this. Chicago Black Business Network, Sister Sonia Purdue, same thing. She said, "Hey, I'm covering the whole year." She circulated money to Uncle Reese Candy Shop, to Nakeem Construction Company, to APS International. That's Sister Tonille Jackson. Circulated money to Preston Construction, to Willie's Auto Repair Shop, to Chicago Communicated Sister Wanda, M4 Construction, Sister Maurice, and Everlasting Joy, who does the seasoning. That's Sonia Purdue and her financial impact, economic circulation of that money going around. The nail box, Sister Crystal. She one of those black businesses that circulated money with Dwight Realty on the west side, to HM Dry Cleaners right there on 68th and Western, to Gentle, Jillian Kendrick circulated money to her cleaning business. Then Play Do Daycare. That's our sister that we love and we work with, Kenyatta Draper, who also has her clothing line. Sister Crystal at the nail box, who does nails, black woman doing nails, already circulated money with all them black businesses. Then, of course, Sister Kenyatta, her daycare. She said, "Hey, I'm just not gonna be receiving money. I'm getting in this game too." She circulated money with Lamont's Properties Realty Firm, Dwight's Realty Firm. Circulated money with the nail box, two nail places. She circulated money with Tiffany's Daycare, with Gentle Hands Cleaning as well, and the H&M Dry Cleaners. This is what I'm talking about. Like, even if you don't get the stuff, you're circulating money with them. And that matters because when you have 10 to 15 businesses circulate money with you on top of your regular customers, that's a good look. DJ Claude, he took care of money with House of Decor. Our brother Roosevelt does cleaning, does reupholstering the furniture. Fine reupholstery is that. Turkey Chop Restaurant on the west side. Danielle Compton, she's a caterer. Book her, call her Mac and Cheese Lady. She also DJ Claude took care of Misty. She has the characters, cartoon characters that come out and read for the young people. Is on the entertainment side. Dance Soul Food Restaurant, Wheels Fashion. So this is the type of stuff we talking about. Going again, travel, and every time we black businesses do this, and we're talking to us as community members to name our four too. It matters that you have businesses being able to name. In this case, 12. Then of course, Gentle Hands Cleaning, residential and commercial. This our sister doing it big. She did the whole 144 to support us right off the top. She and her company have already supported Dwight's Realty, the Nail Box, Play Do Daycare, and HM Dry Cleaning. So she's already doing this work of circulating the money and helping us out. And helping us out matters, you guys, because at the end of the day, if we don't have the revenue we need to operate, then we won't be able to facilitate all this circulation that's happening because we are at the forefront of making sure that this money is doing just that. So that's my presentation on the economic side. Now, where are we going with this? Like, what's the plan? Are we just getting them to circulate money? Here's the vision. Here's the plan. We want to see every Wednesday be our focus and concentration on economics and businesses. So the first Wednesday, we want to see the apparel personnel, beauticians, chefs, DJs, entertainers, restaurants, seamstresses and tailors, and travel agents do this. And when they do this, they agree to be there for each other. Remember what I said? LOS, layers of support. That's what helps you treat your hurt, abuse, and bitterness. All right. So even for our black business owners, that's important. We want to see the second Wednesday beauty supply stores, car washes, cellular stores, cleaners, both residential, commercial cleaning, and dry cleaning, daycares, gas stations, landlords, liquor stores, nail salons, and realty companies come together, agree to stay together. We just met a superstar in Miami named Chili. We met her sister Dawn in New Orleans. Superstars. Dawn in New Orleans runs her cocktail business. She mixing up all type of drinks, and the big thing is she will even mix up health drinks for you, and it's super affordable. And because of what she's doing, we already just read to you which Wednesday group she'll fall right into, so that that group can love on her and support her economically, help her grow and sustain. Then on the other side in Miami, Sister Chili is a massage therapist. We already know the third Wednesday is made up of barbers, dentists, doctors, funeral homes, landscapers, lounge owners, skin and massage personnel, and movers. So that's what Chili rolled right into that. Now, even in Miami, from Georgia and from Chicago, from Gary, we in touch with the barber down there in Overtown. Hey, barber, can you support our sister here with the massage therapy? Because you're a barber. Y'all in the same third Wednesday group. Oh, okay, I got her. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is structure. Structure is the foundation. We saying let's make these our foundation so we can have something to build on. If we know barbers, dentists, doctors, funeral homes, landscapers, lounges, skin and massage therapy, and movers are going to be getting together next month, that means that as black owners, they're going to be talking. They're going to be sharing ideas. They're going to get stronger as long as they keep coming together, and that's good for all of Black America. The last group, BW4, which is Blue Wednesday, fourth Wednesday of the month, auto mechanics. book authors, bricklayers, carpenters, corner stores, electricians, martial arts instructors, marketers, painters, plumbers. Um, as you can see, that's mainly construction people for the fourth Wednesday. It's lawyers. That's the fourth Tuesdays, but it fits into this, and it's also dealing with our corner stores, which is a big deal. We don't have a national corner store chain, and it helps if we do, because now guess what? We can use that to put your inventions, your products into our national black stores, and it also allow us to have trucks on the highway for black people. Like, for those who don't understand how important that is, that's a big deal, because you see SAIA, that's the Hispanic truck, and it's 18 wheelers moving all around the nation, moving their products to their markets. And we need that. We need that. The world should want black people to have that, because that means the black people are being self sufficient. And who don't want self sufficient people, but people that want people to stay dependent on them. So that's kind of the update on the economy side. I already read to you the money that's coming in by zip code. So we hope everyone would tell their loved ones about this $12 a year, because not getting that $12 in a year hurts you. It hurts you. And it hurts you because you don't know which neighbor on your block, behind you, in front of you, is thinking about robbing someone tonight. And so when we call that person, and that person say, "Hey, my son having a hard time. Can you talk to him?" And we talk to him, and we can get him a job cutting grass, shoveling snow, raking leaves. Now he don't have to come break in your house that he was getting ready to do. This is every day that we having these type of conversations and preventing things from happening. With more resources, we can put more people to work. With less resources, we got to depend on who we sending them to. But that's key to me, is that you guys understand why that $12 a year matters so much. Construction. Let's talk about that. That's a biggie, because Pete Buttigieg is former mayor of South Bend. Now he's going to be the head of the Department of Transportation. It's a big deal. With that in mind, the key is, what are black people going to do when it comes to construction? Do we have any earth moving equipment? Can we really build a bridge, steel bridge? It's some things, some impediments that we know we have. But again, while we're fighting, what are we building? What are we building so that, the next 30, 40 years, we don't have to be saying again the same thing I'm saying now, that we don't have this major earth moving equipment, that we'll be working on getting it and making sure we got contracts to justify keeping it. So that's kind of how that works. But what we're going to be doing here before the year is out, so we got 5 days to go. We're going to be sending a letter to Pete Buttigieg, of course, to the incoming mayor, the incoming president, Joe Biden, and Kamala. We want them to know who we are. We want them to know that we stand ready to aid and assist, as long as it's not done to hurt our people. And so we won't play the game just for some funding to, not represent you. So I want to put that out there and be clear about that, because there's a lot of money getting ready to come down, and I just know we're not in position to maximize it, and that's disheartening for me. But that's where we are, and we just keep pressing forward. So what's going to end up happening here, just to let you guys know, you're going to start to see our young people get on. It's I'm gonna take a break. It's coming up on the 4 o'clock hour, which is going to be dealing with education. And when we get our two 10th graders on here, we're going to compete. So what's going to happen? Just so you guys know, all 10th graders we have linked to Africa. So their role as a 10th grade is to learn as much as they can about the continent of Africa. And so we're going to have an African country, Zambia to be exact. We go find out how much they learned about Zambia and who has the better content in their articulation of Zambia. That's one thing we go judge them by. Who has the best understanding of what they wrote up? Go judge them by that. I'm gonna judge them by the way they present, and then I'm final judge is gonna be I'm gonna ask 3 questions or a minimum of 3 questions and see how they respond to that. All those factors will go in so we can decide who walks away with 100 smacks, $100 today. All right, so let me take this break. When we come back, we will go over some education stuff, and hopefully our young people will be on by then. Thanks. Don't go nowhere. All right, everyone, we are coming back to you right now. Let me just mute this other phone here, you guys. 1 second.
It's just us in here, right?
Yeah, but we're streaming live, so don't say nothing.
Oh.
We want everyone to hear. All right, here is the video. I am back. So thank you guys for staying tuned in with us. This is the 4 o'clock hour, and it is now time to talk about education. We have one of our superstars on right now. I'm gonna bring her up after we get the second person on, but I want to just catch you guys back up who just joined in. So we just finished talking about the black businesses and the fact that they are circulating money with themselves right now, and that's beautiful. When we think about what we as a people have to do, if we not circulate money with our own, nothing we do is gonna be sustainable. We can get a quick victory, but it won't last. Chinatown, they circulate money all the time with each other. Greek town, they circulate money with each other all the time. Chinatown, Greek town, Little Italy, Ukrainian village, they understand that it's all about that dollar circulation. So I just wanted to reiterate that to you guys. That's a victory for Black America. And with Chile down in Miami, and we're going to be getting the businesses there to support her. If you have family in Miami, we want to get them on board. Same thing with Sister Dawn in New Orleans. Same thing with Glenda Pink in Bucksport, South Carolina. Chloe Floyd in Atlanta, Georgia. These are black women that are running their own businesses, and we should circulate that money with them no matter where we are. All right, Amani, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. So you're gonna show your face, right?
Oh, you want me to turn on my camera? Can you see?
You sitting there, uh, not yet.
You
There
can't.
you are. I can see you now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Your mom might be watching via my Facebook feed on live. It's on live right now. So tell us who you are first while we're waiting on Amaya to get on.
I'm Imani Smith. I'm 15. I attend King College Prep High School, and I'm a sophomore.
So we not you're not my daughter. We're not family, right?
Mm-mm.
So I want people to know this isn't fixed because you see Smith there. That this is my daughter. No kin at all. But her mom is one of our superstar leaders, and so we also have Pam Dominguez and her granddaughter who will be getting on. And the key to what we're doing, and Amani, you should know this because Amani and Amaya both won our seventh grade award. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the picture right above me with both of you guys holding up. I think it was just $20. So this is a big come up from from back then. That was what seventh grade was 3 years ago, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's Amaya there. So let's bring her on in, and then I can explain what we're doing. But both of you guys, I'm looking at you right there. All right, Amaya, how are you? You're on mute, Amaya.
My bad, but I'm good.
You remember Amani?
Uh-uh.
Y'all gonna make me take this down. I'm
From
gonna take this
where?
down.
Why
All
would I
right.
remember him?
There, both of you guys go right there.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna have to tape that back on the wall. So, welcome. This is gonna be quick. The beauty is, so everyone will know, we ask people to donate money so that the money can circulate. You heard me speak about in the last minute, talking about black business circulation. This is where the rubber meets the road, our young people. So as you see these two 10th graders here, meaning they 2 years away from being out there on their own, and investing in them is an investment in our future. So we had the Chicago Opportunity Peace for Peace in Action contributed altogether $500 to us. So 250 of those dollars are gonna go for two $100 awards over 2 months. So only one of y'all getting 100 today. The next 100 is the next fourth Saturday, which is January 20 something. And we had two first graders. So it's going to be first and 10th grade. They're going to share $25 a piece. So altogether, 250 of the $500 award is going to go toward our direct investment in our young people. So what they have to do, all 10th graders are asked to learn about Africa. Learn about Africa. And this month we want to focus on Zambia, and so we're gonna hear from our youngsters about the country of Zambia. I know a lot of you probably haven't heard of Zambia, so it might be foreign. I know a little bit of something, so I'm gonna be listening, and I'm gonna be the judge. They're gonna have 1 minute apiece to present. I'm no interruptions. I'm not gonna interrupt them at all. I'm going to be taking notes. And then once they're done with their presentation, along the way, if they say something that's totally like left field, then I'll be checking for accuracy and I'll make sure that they know that. And then I'll be looking at their presentation, how they present, whether they looking in the camera or not, whether they chewing gum, you know, things of that nature. So y'all listening, y'all getting the rules down. And this is just the beginning, you guys. Reba, who's a school teacher in Chicago, she's gonna take over this and she's gonna be doing 13 competitions a month, kindergarten through 12th graders, all where they can win money. So when we get Reba on board with this, and the youngsters are gonna love it because they'll be winning money on the regular. So anyway, both of you ladies, I want to make sure that you guys do your introduction so everyone know who you are and what you aspire to become when you grow up. And if you have any questions for me before we get started, I'm gonna draw your name between the two of you. Whoever name I draw, that's who will go first. I'm gonna listen 1 minute. You do your presentation. When the minute is up, I wave my hand or something, so you'll know to stop. And then the next person gonna come do their presentation. I'll stop them. Then I have 3 questions, 2 to 3 questions I'm gonna ask. Now the key is, um, because I didn't know how I wanted to do this, but the key would be it's the same questions. So I need to ask the question, listen for your response. If it's wrong, I'm not gonna tell you it's wrong yet because I want to hear the responses to both of them first. But between the two of you guys, it's whoever raised their hand first. That's who I picked to go first. But either way it go, we're gonna hear from both of you guys. The questions is probably 20% of the full judgment because I didn't give you anything to prepare for the questions. So the bulk of this is your presentation and the content and making sure it's accurate, of course. Do y'all get that? That makes sense? Cool beans. All right. So first, Amaya, introduce yourself. Who are you? What city? And what you want to be when you grow up?
My name is Amaya Shines. I'm from Chicago, um, ooh, and I either want to be a nurse or pediatrician or a veterinarian. So, yeah,
So you like helping people
yeah.
or helping people and animals. Okay. Perfect. Amani?
My name is Imani Smith. I'm from Chicago, and I would like to be a lawyer when I grow up.
All right. Both of you guys are in zip code 60620. And some of our 10th graders who said why they couldn't be on because this funding came from 60620, so it's staying in 60620. So that's why when we get national funds, we can include all our 10th graders around the country. So, all right. So let me draw y'all name right quick and see who goes first. Amaya. All right. Let me get the timer. So don't go yet. Let me get the timer right. All right. On your march. Amaya, you're going first. On your march, get ready, get set, go.
Okay, Zambia is a landlocked country in southern Africa with tropical um, climate and contains mostly of some mountains and hills. The population is 17.35 million. The president is Eager Lungu, I think. Zambia is one of the safest countries in Africa. Zambia is one of the best places in Africa to hunt dangerous game, such as lions, leopards, buffaloes, and elephants. English is the official language of government and is used for education and law. Zambia is predominantly a Christian country. Um, what is it? Oh, Zam, Zam, Zambi. How do you? I don't know how to say this word. Okay, what?
10, 9,
Oh,
8, 7,
um,
6, 5,
I
4,
don't. I'm
3, 2, 1. Okay. All righty. So I got that. Now let's switch gears. Money. Let me
Okay.
get you the timer. Not yet. Not yet. I gotta get ready.
You can hear me good, right? Y'all can hear me good.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So get ready. Get set. You're on.
Zambia is a landlocked country in Africa, meaning it is almost or entirely surrounded by land. Its name comes from the Zambezi River. It has a population of 17.35 million people as of 2018. In the capital of Zambia is Lusaka. Zambia is located in South Central Africa. The people of Zambia speak several vernacular languages such as Bimba, Nyanja, Lazi, Tonga, Luvale, Lunda, and Kayonde. Zambia's contemporary culture is a blend of values, norms, material, and spiritual traditions of more than 70 ethnically diverse people. Zambia is officially a Christian country by constitution. The president of Zambia is Edgar Lungu, and Zambia became independent from the United Kingdom on October 24th in 1964. Zambia's flag I'm going to be saying what
10, 9, 8,
Zambia also relies on copper as one of its
6,
biggest exports. Is home to the Big Five
5,
wildlife, and the currency of Zambia is called the
3,
Zambian kwacha.
2. All right. All right. Let's pause. How both of y'all feel right now?
I don't know. I was talking fast because.
Amaya?
I don't do well under pressure, so yeah. I don't know.
Wait, why your camera keep going up? Oh, that's Amani's now. That was yours, Amaya, first. But just so you guys know, there's no winner or losers. Just so you guys to know. So that should be a pressure release right there. I want to say that both of you guys made me smile because it feels good knowing that you guys did the research, that y'all did uh, capture the key points, which was going to be capital, population, where it sits situated at. Y'all like took my questions away. Those were going to be my questions. So we'll figure that out. But there's no losing. And the key to this $100 is um, both of you guys are going to get money no matter what. Because again, there's no losers. It's just presentation. And Amaya, you just said you don't like pressure. But guess what? In this whole world, you're going to have what? You're going to have pressure. So this is practice. And I think the fact that, like I said, no one loses in this, it should help build up more and more practice because we're going to need you guys to help us with the freshmen, the ninth graders. We're going to need you guys to help us with the eighth graders. So they need to see how you guys get down and how you made it flow and work. And we're going to just make sure that we get this thing going because all of our young people deserve to have economic incentives. And that's what we're doing here. So let me switch my questions up here so I can uh, so I can conclude here with you guys. Y'all made it tough for me. So get ready because y'all gotta let me know who's gonna go first. All right. So and I say on your march, get set, go, and then whoever I see go first. All right. So on your march, get ready, get set, go.
Wait, I'm confused. What do we do?
I gotta pick who go first. So y'all
Oh,
gotta like raise your hand. So let me do it over. You ready, Maya? So, on your Mars, get set, go. All right, Amani. Um, what is the main export for Zambia? Did you see it? No.
export. I said it, didn't I? Did I see it or no? I didn't see it. Oh, I gotta see it again though. Okay, the main export is copper, right? Copper, copper.
That's one of them. Okay. All right. Did you have something different, Amaya? Yeah, it's copper, it's cobalt, silver, uranium. So it's many of them, but copper is one of them. So that's good. Amaya, here's the question for you. Um, is the country poor or not?
In some parts it is.
If is it half, 50% or higher or lower than 50% poor?
One side is 54 and the other is 77.
So you did your homework on that. Okay. Okay. Now I don't want to go too deep because that's getting into trading partners. So I don't want to go there. Um, y'all both said what the population was. That was gonna be it. So that took away that the currency. Y'all making it tough for me here. Y'all making it very tough. So let's do this because I got to get the rest of the agenda going. Any questions for me? Okay. So what I'm gonna do? This ends at 5 o'clock.
Actually, I do
What
have
you
a
got,
question.
man? Yeah.
Um, how do we know like who won? I mean, not who won, but who win the 100?
hmm You you're gonna know at 5:01 as soon as I'm done with this, because I have the other subjects to get through. But I wanted to make certain that everyone is live now. So I wanted to make sure everyone know that both of you guys won 3 years ago in seventh grade university, and again, we need you guys. And so I appreciate you guys to death for being on here. Amaya, thank you. And again, we need you guys for the future with all these other ones we're going to be doing with the youngsters. So both of y'all are walking away with money. That's the bottom line. I'll let you know which one of y'all walking away with the bigger dollar amount at 501. All right. Any other questions for me? Okay. So you guys can cut off, and I appreciate you. I'm going to move on to the rest of the subjects.
I have a question.
Yep.
Oh, what are we doing for the remaining of the time?
No, you're done.
Oh, so we can leave?
I text you guys. Yeah, I have both of y'all on text. I text you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Peace. All right, you guys. So as you can see, they made it tough. They really made it tough. And this is the brochure that I was using, Zambia. And I had some extra little insight, but I didn't want to go too deep with them. I appreciated both of them getting on, you guys. And I'm gonna tell you, it's so important. And I'm saying this while we're still on the subject of education. It's so important for adults to realize that our children are growing, they're developing. And what Amaya said, she may not know, but the biggest fear of humans isn't dying. Researchers say the biggest fear is public speaking, and this is a form of public speaking. And so Maya should know she's not alone. It's grown-ups who don't want to be under no pressure in public having to perform. And so it took a lot of courage for them to do this, and that's cool. I want to see our males do that as well. Come under pressure, come public, and if we do it out of love, and this is what I want the other facilitators to know, like what I'm trying to push here. If we do it out of love, if we make sure that they know there's no losing, it should take pressure off of them because we want them to have fun. We want them to do the research. They both did it. That's why they both are going to get money, and we want them to feel good about what they did. And that's why I feel good that they came on and did it. So anyway, let me do this. Then we gonna move away from the this subject of education. We have 20 cities in 7 regions altogether. The time will come where you're going to have these type of video competitions, and the youngsters are going to be winning 3 different pots of money. They're going to be winning locally in their zip code. They're going to be competing and winning in their city against other zip codes. They're going to be competing inside their region. Every city is inside a region. And so they're going to be competing. So there'll be a regional winner, there'll be a citywide leader, there'll be a zip code leader winner. And then, of course, the nationwide one, meaning all 21 cities, which is 7 regions. So this is going to be a great platform and opportunity for us to just take this thing and have the youngsters excited about education. They're going to be happy because there's always some money to win, and we putting that kind of money behind them. So I just wanted to make sure that we all was clear on this education piece and how we're going to make it fun and exciting for them. So right now it's 4:20. I'm gonna take a break here, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna get into policy. There's some things I definitely want to make sure that we talk about. I see Rachel here, so let me take this break, and then I'm gonna get Rachel on here. So here we go. All right, we got Sister Rachel. You there? All right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
I was gonna say, I know you're gonna grace us with your beautiful face, and there you go. All right,
I'm good.
what's up, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I appreciate you taking the time out on a Saturday after Christmas.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, what's the latest before we get into our subject here?
I mean, I'm just finishing out the semester, um, putting the touches and talking with folks who I'm about to add for the organization I'm about putting together, and working out the language as far as dealing with intracommunity violence and the trauma that impacts Black children.
Now, so before we go there, just because our people are watching from everywhere, you're a
Right.
Chicagoan, born and raised.
Right. Yep.
Chicago is a tough city. You consider yourself a tough girl?
I mean, there's no place I'd rather be. I know a lot of folks can say that this city is quote unquote a crab in a barrel, but I don't feel that way. I think for me, there's no place to be, and a lot of folks have gotten up, left, and never looked back. I can't abandon the city, specifically folks who are impacted mostly, because so many of us have. And what we fail to realize is that when we take resources and we as the people are the resource, and when we get up and leave, we're abandoning and creating the same systems that have allowed and been able to fester for years and generations.
And that's the whole piece, right? Chicago, I tell people, it is the toughest. It is the toughest. And so if you stay there, it says something about you. You either give up or you stay and fight, and you stood and fought and continue to fight. And so tell our audience, uh, you were doing stuff before Beyond Black Lives Matter, right? You've been in this fight for a little while. What's your history and
Yeah.
track record? Why should people listen to you?
So I've been organizing honestly since I was little. Um, since majority of high school, I didn't consider organizing as a youth because it wasn't a kind of a word that we used when we saw organizing. We saw civil rights movement, farmers' rights movement for labor rights, so forth and so on. So we didn't really see it as organizing for community. Um, I left high school, graduated high school, and then started political organizing, working for Rahm Emanuel's campaign. I left abruptly because I didn't like Rahm Emanuel, and then went to working for former Steve Beshear, former governor of Kentucky, of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, who is the father of Andy Beshear now.
Now, before you switch to Kentucky, you said you don't like Rom. I think that's a shallow response. Why wouldn't you like Rom?
Um,
You didn't like the way he ran things, how he behaved. What you didn't like?
yeah, so I graduated high school in 2009. I am a graduate of John Hope College Preparatory High School on uh, in Inglewood. It was one of the four high schools that Rom closed. Um, have closed. Uh, so I at the time was also I volunteered for Obama campaign in 2008. I wasn't even registered to vote. I wasn't even allowed to vote because I was 17. And I worked for his campaign. Then I got the opportunity while still in my freshman year when Rom chose, quote unquote, chose to step down from chief of staff to come back home to work for the Rahm Emanuel campaign. That at that time, for me, I thought the way to change and be an influence was to get involved in politics. Because that's what everybody said, like to be someone to do political policy work. And I got to work for him, and I was just like, yo, like I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person, but work with him, like his spirit just didn't sit well with me. It's just like it made me feel like I had to take baths after like being in meetings with him. And I was just like, so I
What, Rachel, was it just him, or what is it the whole clan? Like I got a feeling it's like deeper than just a person. It's a clique. It's a
it's
spirit.
it's the whole environment of what he was doing. So my family's John Stroger's Old War, which is the eighth. If you know anything about Chicago politics and what is Chicago politics and Black Chicago politics, you know that who is John Stroger. John Stroger is the first Black Cook County Board president before Tony Preckwinkle. I grew up in the eighth ward. Then after grew up in the eighth ward and then moved to the ninth. So I grew up in John Stroger's old ward. My family, John Stroger's folks, pretty much my whole area is a stronghold. And so when we were running numbers, he was upset that Carol Mosley Braun was like literally knocking him out of precincts that Obama overwhelmingly ran in 2008 for the presidential. And he's like, why am I losing these? And I'm like, because nobody likes you. And so, like, four folks was like, yeah, he may have, been Obama's right hand man, but they didn't. I feel a connection to him, and that was really a deciding factor. The way in which he responded to Black communities not bringing in those numbers that he thought he should have won, or should have been getting, was indicative of like his personality overall, even after he won in the next 8 years of his mayoral candidacy, and as he was mayor. It was just that whole vibe, and so it's a bunch
That
of us who
arrogance.
are, yeah, it's a bunch of us who grew up under Daley. In high school, I used to joke and sit there and say like, "There's no way." I'm like, Daley can die in office, and they will literally have an urn sitting in the mayor's seat,
Yeah. Yeah,
governing over this.
and that's you may say joke about that or sound like you're joking about that, but really Black people have lost lives. There's blood on the hands of these politicians who have allowed, whether it's what happened in the 70s and 80s with Black men going to jail for their whole life, 20, 30 years.
70s, the 80s, the 60s,
Yeah,
the redlining, the State
big
Street
time.
corridor, and obliterating, Bronzeville and Kenwood, which was historic district
Tearing the
where
CHA down.
folks, yeah,
Yeah.
where Black folks flourished. You know, creating the State Street corridor, creating the environment where a lot of folks dealt with this trauma that should have been dealt with, but you kept them essentially in cages. And then okay, then we're gonna obliterate the State Street corridor and then create an environment where these folks are not finding proper housing. These folks are then moving into housing and out into the city, outside of the city, in Danville and Rockford, but they have never been given that support. And a lot of folks who wanted to be back in the city, essentially, like it's like Hurricane Katrina, but policy wise. In the way of the State Street corridor and CHA, the projects were obliterated, and there was never a policy in place to protect the residents and the tenants who are
Now,
there.
now, so and people can tell, as you can tell, Rachel is astute. She knows her stuff. What are you doing about it? What can be done about it?
Well, one, what can be done about it is one, we have a issue with equitable housing, that's not just on low income folks but disabled folks, um, that is not equitable. Uh, it was a scandal maybe right around the time Ron was leaving or Ron was coming in about folks who were CHA residents who were living in these high rises, and everyone assumed that these were black folks, and I'm like, no, um, the white folks get to live in quality situations where there are kids who are now, even in 2020, 2020, who are being poisoned by lead in their housing that is certified and supposedly inspected by CHA housing. So, they create these conditions where folks are dependent, and talking with folks who have lived in public housing in different cities and different places, there was never an outlet. One of my friends who grew up in public housing in another space before she came here, um, her mother tried to create a community garden and had a community garden running for about 2 years, and then the public housing in that city did not like it, and she was growing it. The community who were living in public housing was benefiting and also participating in it. In the public housing, they decided to come in and pour bleach, so you can never use the soil again. Destroy her crops, and then you decide to pour bleach. Then or you decide to build a public housing like Allgale Gardens, smack dab in the middle of a toxic donut, and continuously poisoning black folks. And then ask the question, why is violence a reoccurring thing? But then you're having people there in toxic donuts. You're building buildings in toxic donuts, or what we consider EPA brown zones, where the Environmental Protection Agency literally deems these places that nothing should actually be growing there. So if you're telling me vegetation should not be growing there, you expect to grow black children there, um, and you expect them to grow and be productive when the EPA is saying, like, you should not be growing dandelions, let alone a black child
Right,
in
right,
the same vicinity. And so we have to take a stock of like where the government has broken down, but it's not just the government. I'm a very big believer of community and communal living. I grew up in what we consider College Grove Heights, which is where, if you've ever been to Chicago on the South Side, where the Jay's Potato Factory used to be, Jay's Potato Factory is right there on 99. Then across the train tracks is Olive Harvey on the other side. Then on the other side, going west, is Chicago State University. And all three of those institutions were stabilizing institutions for my community. Then Jay's Potato Chips closes. Then you have where at one point a black community that they literally consider the suburbs and the hood is now obliterated and having issues of crime. Um, but then nobody connects those dots. Nobody connects the dots instead of saying like where is the economic growth coming? Why is there no economic growth, and why are folks being shut out? I live in Roseland, Rosemore, Pullman. We built all these factories over there by the Bishop Ford. To get in these factories, you have to go through a temp agency. Temp agency hires you, um, because you live in a 628 zip code, and and then you work for 60 days or not six, but right before that cutoff period for your probation, and then they're like, we're gonna let you go, but then we're gonna rehire you from the temp agency right again,
yeah,
a week later, because we don't want to pay you
right,
to work, actually be an employee of this company.
right.
And
So,
that is by design from the alderman.
so because you started an organization, so what are you doing though? Because you got it down pat in terms of the challenges.
Well,
And how
right
can we help?
now, I'm trying to build out the organization. The organization's in honor of my little cousin, who was an 11-year-old youth organizer from Asada's Daughters. Her name was Sakaya Holmes. No relation to Andrew Holmes. But me and her believed in community. I was raising her to be a community organizer. And she saw the same issues I did.
Right.
And she talked about them and we worked them out and said, like, what does it look like to be in community without police? What does it look like to be in community with each other? Instead of, feeling like we have to isolate ourselves from each other. And unfortunately, she was killed by gun violence and in February of 2017. And one of the things I did see during that time was like, even as an educator, I was the debate coach on the far west side of the city. Um, and I ended up finding out a young girl was shot 30 minutes before. And I realized during that time when we were struggling, like what the impact was. When Kai was still on life support, they sent 4 therapists to the school, to my little cousin's school, which is my family's grammar school. And they did not send therapists to the other little girl's school. And I ended up finding out that, oh, we only give services to the if they're more popular in media.
They didn't tell you that.
It's essentially, I talked to the principal, talking to the principal was like, we never got our services from the CPS, from CPS. CPS
See,
has
that's the
only 4
unspoken. You're
therapists.
right. I have no doubt in what you said, but that's the unspoken. They wouldn't say that
Oh, they ain't
publicly.
gonna say it to you.
That's,
They ain't gonna say it to you, but the way in which they treat it,
yeah.
you can tell.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
got you. I got you.
and now I'm realizing, I'm like, wait, we only have 4 grief counselors in the whole city for the whole school district? And I'm like, that's impossible. I'm like, a kid could die from leukemia and been at the school since pre-K and be in 7th grade. A kid can die in a fire, what have you, a
Anything.
teacher,
Yeah.
whatever, and at different spots of the city in the same time range. And you telling me whoever gets the most notoriety media-wise
PR. Yeah. Public.
gets
Yeah, I
the
get it.
more assistance. And it was mind-blowing to me that was happening. It was mind-blowing to me. And when I sat down with the young woman's family, she was 12. Her name was Kanari Gentry Bowers. And I sat down with her family, and her father's just looking at me. He was like, I want the same media that you got.
Yeah.
I want the same consideration for the fact that my child is dying that you have. And as an organizer who is known, was known throughout the country with organizers within the movement, I just had to sit with myself, and I'm like, and I had to sit with myself of like what the perception is for media, for PR, and what that looks like. For my little cousin, she's my little cousin, but she's like my niece because I watched her grow up. I watched from the time my mom found out she was pregnant till we had to close the casket. And I had to sit with myself and like knowing all the PR training I've had, I had to look at how we look at families who what will benefit. I had to think. My little cousin has a college educated family. Her grandmother was a nurse at UC. Her great aunt, my mother was a nurse at Cook County. She had an aunt who was an organizer. Me, she was also a part of the organizing community. And I had ready access to media and journalists. And I realized my position. And so I was like, this is really effed up. And what do we do about it? And so I ended up building with my friends who were social workers and therapists and ended up by saying like, okay, because they abandoned my little cousin's school as quickly as they came. CPS did,
Oh, yeah.
and CPS told
It's
the
PR.
schools, like the school's council, like, hey sis, we only were here to one day, but you on your own after that. And I had to talk to the counselor, and the counselor's like, I've seen this girl since pre-K. I cannot
be expected to counsel the whole school when every one of us are infected, from the to custodial staff to the teachers to the lunchroom staff. We're all affected, not just these kids. And so I had to reach out and reach into my bag and sit there and say, like, hey, friends, could we work on something? And deal with the trauma just on, not in the school, but the friends that my little cousin had in Parkway, friends who she had in the Sadas, and just all of it. And it was just like, how do we deal with this? And how do we make sure, particularly I was looking at the lens from her brother. He was 3 at the time, Graham turned 4. And I had to sit there and say, like, how do we look at it from his standpoint? Of he was the first person to realize she had been shot. I'm like, how do we make sure he's not the person 10, 15 years down the line pulling the trigger on someone else, or having the trigger pulled on him because the trauma in which he has endured has not been met? And that was like a thing that I had to deal with, because I'm like, I'm 29 now. And by the time I was 20, I had been to maybe 15 different funerals of classmates and friends, from gun violence. Now I've been to, I don't even know the number anymore.
But do you, because so the bottom line is, because of your personal experience, you're definitely in tune with what's needed on the victim's end and the victim's family end, so that like your organization will be able to speak to them and be there for them. But you're one person or one group. How do you multiply that? How will you be able to impact Chicago, third largest city? Or is it more about partnering with others? Like, the scale of it is what I'm saying.
I think it is really about partnering with other organizations. It's about partnering with folks who have the same understanding and have the same goals in mind. Um, just to like kind of, you know, get the burden and share the burden. Because for me, when I look at gun violence, when I look at intracommunity violence, it's a burden that's on all of us, not just the shooter family, not just the victim's family, but everybody else. It's a chain reaction of the effects, and it's not just on 2 sets of families. It's on
Right.
everyone,
Not big time.
and
Yeah.
it
So
is our
yeah.
responsibility.
So what are you doing? Like, give me 3 top things that you do. You go, you pray, you raise money for them, like, so people can have more crystallized view of what it is you're doing.
So for the last several years, we've been doing back to school drives, having organization, working with organization and trying to get counseling brought in. Because of the pandemic, we were originally going to have Medics, which is Ujima Medics, which is a Black led organization in Chicago, come in and do trainings on how to deal with gunshot victims. That's another thing that we're experiencing, where victims are shot, and the police are not allowing, EMS to come in. My cousin bled out for about 15 to 20 minutes before EMS was able to come on. And EMS was at 63rd and King. She was shot at 65th. So there are scenes where I would consider, and I've been considering it for the last 6 or 7 years, what I consider medical homicide, meaning that the officers are denying medical attention to victims, regardless of if it's police involved victims or it's intracommunal.
Yeah.
They are still humans,
And
and they
and
deserve.
and people wouldn't believe you when you say that, but that's, you mean what you just said, that the
Yeah,
police, right? So people outside Chicago might say, what the heck you mean the police? So I've watched the video where the girl was saying, under her breast it hurts on 79, and she ended up dying, and the police was like, you got to calm down, you got to calm down, just insensitive. And
yeah,
essentially you felt like she was gonna make it the way she was talking, but she didn't. And I just wondered, did they care enough? Because it didn't
they
seem
don't.
like.
They have the training, but they don't. And I talk to folks who are like, but they gotta secure the scene. I'm like, I'm like, I've also seen them run into like stuff where it's an active shooter and treat folks while active shooters present. So I'm like, that
But
makes no sense to me.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, you can, yeah. So, because I know we coming up on our time here. So the bottom line, this what I see. You correct me if I'm wrong. Because of your traumatic experience, because of your political astuteness, you're in a unique position to both look at the elected officials' lack of coordination and empowerment for our community, and the actual impact when someone is traumatized. And
yeah.
that puts you young, you're under 30, so that means you got some time, stay in power. And so, what support do you need, and how can others help you now?
Well, right now we are working on getting our 501c3.
So you got
Working
the
on
money,
getting,
you got the 500. Is it less than that now or something?
yeah, it's less than that.
So you got
But
it. You don't
right
need to
now
raise
is a,
money.
huh?
So you got that. You don't need to raise money. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right now I do, because it's a pandemic and I've been
Well, let's put
uh
the dollar amount out there. What you got to raise?
200 to get everything in place. What's left?
200.
Yeah, I know.
So she need $500, you guys. We need 5 people with $100 because the bottom line, she's doing the work, paying out of her own pocket. So the bottom line is getting the money to her, help her get started, have a little cushion helps because you can see the commitment there, you can see the dedication there, and I think it's worthy. How do people reach you?
They can reach me at my email, Rachel, RACHEL .Williams 2013 at Gmail. That is probably the easiest way to reach me, because my phone and email are already
Yeah,
always present. If I'm not on my phone, I'm on my tablet,
yeah,
writing out things and going about how to navigate all of it. Because I'm not just an organizer within the city, but I'm also a resource within Louisville, Memphis, is and other cities as well, where I have folks who I've worked with.
yeah. Excellent. And I just want to say this: we're gonna stay close to you. You see, I stay in touch with you, so we're gonna stay
Definitely,
close to
because
you
we met
because
when I was trying to run for alderman in 2019.
well, you weren't trying, you did it.
Yeah, I did run for alderman in
Yeah, you
2019.
did it. You weren't
Yeah,
trying.
we were trying hard to unseat him, but
No, no,
we
no. I trust me. I've been running for a long time. That's on the people. Once you declare, you do your part. It's on the people what they do. But I just want to make sure people know from a commitment standpoint. I see it, and again, I think investing in our younger people to carry the mantle is important. So us getting 5 people, getting 10 people to do, $50, however we get to it. I just want to put that on us that this is nothing for us to pool money together and support. We have it. We go give it to the Arabs, the Chinatown, Greek town, Little Italy. We can give it to our own. Any closing remarks? And then I got to switch gears here.
one thing I do say is that with everything happening in the world, everything happening in our communities where we're being impacted by COVID and the pandemic, where we're having high instances of intercommunity violence, be it carjackings, whatever, is that we have to think outside of ourselves, but think within community. Smile at each other, give love to each other, regardless of if they walking down the street and you walk into your car. Like, give each other that love and respect, even if you don't know them, because that just changes the body language and the mindset of somebody who may be going through some things, that they realize there are people who may not know them but actually care.
So you want me to put the mirror up?
You can do that. You can do
You
that.
don't get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you can do that, and
What
I
what I'm
wholeheartedly
saying?
say that
What
we
you
have
think
to
I'm
be in
saying?
love with each other.
What you think I'm saying? Though? I don't think you. What you think I'm saying?
Put the reflection up.
Talking about you and your smiling. So,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
it's just I catch the bus, and when I catch the bus, and sometimes we have this fear because we've been indoctrinated to be afraid of each other, that we see the body language of someone else, specifically Black men, and sometimes I'm just like, hey brother, how you doing? And that changes that whole mindset and that body language. And even when they may be feeling like the world is against them, like, there's someone out there. And I bring that energy to people, and I try to make sure that vibrates across just not me, but people in general, because we need it and we need to be
Now,
affirmed in each other.
but as women, y'all gotta be careful going around smiling at men too, cause
Yeah, that
that
is
can
the
go
thing. But I just be like, hey, brother, how you doing? I want to know how you doing. But you gotta take. Sometimes you gotta take that risk.
No,
Um,
I know. I just wanted to put that out there
I
because
know,
people
like,
be feeling
listen, I done had issues with dudes try to give me their number,
right.
or they'd take my number and talk about call me, and they'd be like, call me now while we
But
sitting at the bus stop.
but they can tell you I need some help, and you got to decipher is this business help or this personal help you talking about.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, you do. And so sometimes, it's about discernment, but also just being like not blocked by a lot of
yeah,
the hate that
yeah,
we've been
no,
throwing at each other and the
no,
world throws at us that we throw back at each
right.
other.
No, I get you. All right, I got to close this out. I appreciate you for taking time out, and let's talk. Let's talk Monday about that mini campaign we go get going so you can raise that money. All right,
Most definitely. We'll definitely talk.
appreciate you.
All right,
Peace.
peace.
All right, everyone. Um, that sister is on fire. As you guys can see, she is serious about the trauma. And anyone that don't live in Chicago, I just want you to know when you talk about more murders than any other city in America, if the people are all happy-go-lucky, something is wrong. Because people dying prematurely is wrong, and to have everyone happy is just don't go together. Somebody need to be angry, upset, and knowing that we can do better than what we see. So when you see a person out there that's doing the work, that's out there putting in the work, that really care about our people, it's important to rally around and support that. So what's going to happen now? We are at the closing 5 minutes. She covered the policy and legal section, and I wanted to make sure that you guys can really meet her. My brother is State Rep LaShawn Ford, and he is working on legislation to help our elders who have homes paid in full and still could lose their homes due to back taxes. So he's working. We don't have an update yet because of the holiday and all that. So we hope in the first quarter to have an update on that. And then the thing I wanted to put out there that we want to propose is anything dealing with reconnection fees for utilities. We want a true cost for reconnection, because I think the utilities are making money off of disconnecting people in their utilities. So I think legislation should be brought. This is on the legal front, to where any reconnection fees that they charge, if there's a true cost in reconnecting, then of course we should pay that. But if it's exceeding that, I think excess should be used for youth and senior citizen programs, whether it's winter coats, winter boots, whether it's money to help pay senior bills who's on fixed incomes. I just don't think we need to incentivize utilities profiting off of reconnection of people who may be struggling. And we also want to see community service being a vehicle that can be used as well to pay for people who can't afford the financial actual bills. So that's it for the legal side. To close us out, next month is January. We're going to be in the new year. We're going to make sure that we promote and make sure everyone knows exactly how we're going to move forward in 2021. This year, just like I spoke as a CEO last year, I said we had to put more money into manpower. This year, when you see the financial numbers, we did just that. We put more money into manpower. And that's what I'm going to say next year is going to be about: more, even more money than we put in this year to manpower. We're going to put even more in, because putting people to work is going to really, really allow us to grow across the nation and change our neighborhoods. I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's a long video. I'm going to go ahead now and get in touch with those youngsters, those 10th graders you saw. And again, neither one of them are losing, because there is no losers. And we're going to decide the fate of this money here as soon as I get off. So call me and let me know what you think. I'm going to post the winners next week, but I'm going to communicate that to them right now. Thank you. And I'll see you again in January. Happy New Year. Be safe. Peace.